just bought the rarest bike I've ever seen at the auction. Yes, this Nürburgring edition is one of 150 in the world, but this bike is so much more rare. A 2018 Ducati Superleggera. Back in 2018, this 1299 Superleggera was the most powerful twin-cylinder production bike Ducati had ever built at that time. Weighing at just 339.5 pounds dry and producing 215 horsepower from this L-twin engine. A 2-cylinder engine. This bike is number 54 of 500 ever made. Superleggera is an Italian word that means super light. This bike is extremely light. We have a full carbon frame, full carbon swing arm, full carbon subframe, full carbon wheels, front and rear. It also comes with a full titanium Akrapovic exhaust. All the fasteners are titanium. You've got titanium suspension. The fairings are carbon fiber. This bike is beautiful. I bought this bike from Copart, and this bike has a crazy history. Let me show you. Here we are, in the auction room, waiting for this Superleggera to go live. The bidding started at $10,400, and we placed our bid. New bidder. Because no one else was going. Then all of a sudden, it ramped all the way up to $24,800, and it was sold on approval to us. Sold on approval. Now it's sold on approval, so the seller has to accept or counteroffer my last bid. This is pretty interesting. I was doing a clear VIN report on this Ducati Superleggera, and it has already been at auction once before. On November 26th, 2024, this Ducati Superleggera 1299 was sold for $18,700. Looking like this. Either someone bought this to quick flip or it's been rebuilt and crashed again. In the previous photos from the first sale, you can see the extra components on the ground at the auction yard. I'm giving away this Ninja H2 plus $5,000 in cash. Listen to this beast. Oh my. So loud. 14 days left for this giveaway. You could be taking home this 2023 Ninja H2. Find out all the official rules at cjmediastore.com, and good luck. Well, I've got some exciting news. We won the 1299 Superleggera. We're headed to New York to pick up a 1299 Superleggera. All right, off to go see Rob at RK Motorsports. Some of you guys might know Rob from RK Motorsports, as he has a YouTube channel where he rebuilds motorcycles just like I do. Well, he lives in New York and he was close to the auction place, so he graciously picked up the bike for me and stored it for me because there is a time limit those bikes can sit at auction. And his shop is loaded with bikes. Plus this Ducati V4 that he just finished rebuilding, this thing was a beauty.
I was thinking about putting a Ninja 250 under here.
My goodness, it looks so good. All the fairings are carbon, like.
I don't know if like they use like silicone from the factory to like adhere. Like you can see this big glob over here.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I don't know.
Is that how they attach the seat?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Unless they use the regular 1299 seat, because there's no mounting points for. Are you thinking about repairing the tank? Or
probably. Yeah. They're pretty expensive.
I would imagine.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So. Big thank you to Rob for getting the key, because the key did not show up
when I was at the yard picking up the bike. where's the key?
Right.
No, it was there in the photos.
Oh,
He's
no.
like, ask the office. I'm like, okay. So I ended up going up to the office. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a key for this motorcycle I just picked up. They're like, oh, let me check. So I see the lady going through little folders and stuff. She's like, oh, here it is. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, just like the adjuster for like your distance from the bar. So you can kind of do it on the fly. And I mean, you could just take your hand off the clutch, do a quick little adjustment, and then adjust it.
I've never seen anything like that.
No, I saw that and I was interested
What
to
is
see
that?
kind of what that was.
Well, Rob showed me his Turbo Gixxer, a very old and rare 636 with super low miles, and a bunch of other bikes, including an H2, some secret projects in the basement, and of course he had to start that Panigale for us. So now it was time to load up that 1299 into the back of the van. Now it had no brakes, so Rob helped me load it, and boom, we got it all strapped down in the back of the CJ Mobile, and we were ready to go back to our HQ. Now Rob lives really close to Niagara Falls, and I had never seen it before. So we took a little detour, and he showed me the falls. Welcome to the behind the scenes, guys, me and Rob.
DTS.
We are headed to
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Never been here before. Rob's a daily here.
I'm your daily tour guide right here.
So he's taking me on a tour. Let's see how it looks.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Rob, is it always supposed to look like this?
No.
So Rob was saying, that's Canada, and we're on the American side.
Yes, we are. Canada's way better.
There's the Space Needle from Seattle. So somehow that got here.
Seattle right now. It's Seattle, Canada.
Oh yeah, it's lined with people.
You're live streaming.
How many likes on the newest video for you to go down the falls?
On the jet ski bike?
On the jet ski
On the
bike.
jet ski bike?
So Rob, where's all this water coming from?
So we got water coming from Lake Erie, going down over the falls, heading through the Niagara River to Lake Ontario. So that's where all this water's going from, just one lake to another.
All the way. What an amazing piece of nature on God's green earth. Well, we are on the way home. Man, doesn't she just look so beautiful? Well, we made it back, and the little bro came out to help unload this Ducati from the van. It was a long drive, but we made it safe and sound. Now you can see in this van, the rear tire is actually flat. Well, turns out, you'll see later in the video, but this rim is actually cracked on the inside and is so badly damaged. Now we also went out back and grabbed my rear stand from my 1199 Panigale, which was the first rear stand I ever bought for motorcycles. Same exact stand I bought for that 1199 Panigale rebuild like 4 years ago. Works perfectly with this 1299 rear hub because they're the exact same. And we're back in the shop with the Superleggera. Time to start disassembling. First, we're starting with this rear wheel because it's easiest to roll around a project on two good wheels. And as you can see, this rear wheel is pretty heavily damaged. Cracked on the center of this carbon wheel. Yeah, there's no saving this. Probably the first time this rear nut has been off since the factory back in 2018. This wheel is junk, by the way. It's a factory OEM carbon wheel from Ducati. I believe this is the same wheel on the V4R and V4R SP, but you can see it's literally cracked on the inside, and it was moving side to side when it was just rotating in this assembly. Now, I thought this was pretty cool. I just wiped away some of this dirt back here, and you can see the carbon swing arm actually merges together with, looks like an aluminum back piece, which pinches down this rear hub for the single-sided swing arm. Looks like this is a Rizoma license plate bracket. OEM rotor, underslung caliper, titanium hardware. But you can really see the inside of this carbon swing arm now. That is so cool. And look at the size of these titanium pipes. That is impressive. Now this Diablo Super Corsa SC tire only has a couple hundred miles on it, So we're going to be removing it from that broken carbon wheel and reusing it on our, spoiler alert, brand new forged aluminum wheels. So we brought out the Rabaconda tire changing stand, which I've been using, and it saved me so much time rather than taking these tires to a tire shop to get the tires removed and then mounted and balanced when I can do it all in-house. Super easy, by the way. With that tire off, I can show off how light this carbon rim really is. So we got the Super Corsa off of that rear rim with the Rabaconda, comes in clutch every time. Now to show you guys our new forged wheels for the Superleggera, custom made by the way. But first, let me show you how they were made. Here we are behind the scenes in Spuff Performance Shop. This stuff is so cool to me. Here you can see a different rear wheel being made. And this is our front wheel actually on the CNC machine. Just look at the precision. Man, this stuff is so cool to me and it looks so good. Man, it really makes you appreciate what goes into making such a beautiful piece of art. Well, here they are, front and rear forged aluminum wheels with a 6-spoke design that has cutouts in the spokes, a custom design Chris and I worked up for this special bike. Using some tire mounting lube, we mounted that rear Super Corsa onto the new forged aluminum wheel. Rabaconda makes this special 56mm adapter for the single-sided swing arm rear tires on Ducatis. It also works on my MV so that I can change these tires on this universal tire changer. The adapter also works for the balancer, which is what we did next after we filled up the tire with some air. We balanced out that rear wheel. Once the wheel is on the balancer, this is how it works. You slide the 2 knobs on the balancer, pinching the wheel in the center, which suspends it perfectly in the air, allowing it to spin freely on whatever side is heavier. And that 56mm adapter plate Rabaconda makes keeps it nice and level while you are balancing this wheel. And the results speak for themselves. There's our forged aluminum wheel for the rear from Spuff Performance. This design looks so good. These are complete custom one-off designed specifically for this bike. Now to do the front wheel as well. Now also in this package we have custom front spacers for that wheel. Right side and a left side that'll fit perfect in these bearings. And this wheel is ready to go on. Well, I was going to use a steering stem stand for the front to remove that front wheel, but it didn't end up working out because none of the pins fit the large steering stem on this Ducati. So we took off the front calipers with the titanium hardware and got ready to remove that front wheel. And could you believe it? The bolts for the front fender were titanium as well. I was amazed. We also disconnected the rear brake lines, and Ducati made it nice. They put a bolt back there so you could just quick disconnect it from the fender and you didn't have to drill out a rivet like most of these other bikes. The speed sensor also routes in the front fender, which was very interesting to see. We loosened the titanium pinch bolts underneath the billet fork caps in the front. Yes, they're billet machined aluminum. That's pretty cool. We removed that front axle and slipped that carbon wheel right out of there. Now, we need to remove these brake discs, and they look fantastic. No damage, so we'll just swap those over to the new forged aluminum wheel. Over at our tire changer, this front wheel is in good shape, so we had to pull the valve stem first to release all the air so we could break that bead on this wheel. And sometimes it takes all of my force to break this bead. Once both sides of the wheel bead is broken, I install this pin to prevent the wheel from spinning. I put the tool head in between the rim and the edge of the tire and slide that tire right out of there. This pin helps keep the wheel centered on the tire changer, but now it's time to remove this carbon wheel and break out our forged aluminum one. Here you can see the correct rotation of the tire mounted with the correct orientation of the wheel. Cleaned off any residual tire lube, removed that center pin from the wheel, and removed our forged aluminum wheel, brought it over to the compressor, filled it up with air, and then straight over to the balancer. Once we got this wheel set up on the balancer, I did realize I ran out of wheel weights, so we headed to the store, grabbed a pack of slim wheel weights that'll be perfect for these wheels, and started with the balancing. Now this wheel balanced out really well, only needed a couple of weights, and it was perfect. Once the balancing was taken care of, it was time for our original rotors. Using blue Loctite and torquing down each of the disc brake bolts to 30 Newton meters, just like Ducati spec has them at, we torqued all the bolts on the one side with the speed sensor, and we did the same to the other side. So you guys want to see something cool? As I'm torquing down these rotor bolts on the front wheel, they're lining up perfectly with the original marks. Check this out. I mean, come on. And we'll do it to this one as well. That is pretty cool. So if you're ever having doubts about the torque specs you find online, well, the factory can confirm it for you once again with their original markings. So we cleaned up the tire and that brake rotor, got it looking spick and span, also cleaned up the forks and threw that new forged aluminum wheel right into place. Putting that front axle in with the CNC'd spacers that we got from Spuff Performance. There you can get a better shot of those beautiful spacers on each side, a perfect fit. Now, of course, we also torqued down the front axle to 63 Newton meters. 63 Newton meters converts to about 46 foot-pounds. This Superleggera is coming together so well, an absolute work of art and a dream bike. We torqued down the caliper bolts, the pinch bolts, which actually have the torque rating on the side of the bottom of the fork cap. That's pretty cool. forged aluminum front wheel is on the Superleggera. Now the rear and the front of the Superleggera have fresh forged aluminum wheels. Mounted, balanced, and ready for that 215 horsepower this Superleggera makes. Like I mentioned, all these fasteners are titanium. Titanium pinch bolts, titanium caliper bolts, titanium even for the front mudguard. Also something cool I had never seen before, you can detach the front fender bracket from the billet end cap. They're usually just all one cast piece, but this comes off. That's cool. There is so much more to do with this bike. We will catch you guys in the next episode. See ya.